interrupt this broadcast to bring you this important bulletin from the United Press.
Good evening. This is Chris Parsons once again outside of the Fat Cat here in beautiful Modesto, where we're taking in Death Angel, Contrast the Water, Nothing But Losers, several other bands. And tonight we are going to talk about A.F.A.R, the Alliance for Artist Rescue. Is that correct? Yeah. Chris has founded an organization that is actually trying to help other musicians and other bands in other countries to seek refuge in the places that they're persecuted. You want to tell us a little about that?
Yeah, a few years ago we started A.F.A.R, Alliance for Artist Rescue, and basically what it is just we're trying to create a safe landing place for people who go through the long, arduous task of either escaping their country or escaping tyranny and getting out of those countries to bring the message of their country to the rest of the world from under oppression like we have going on in Indonesia right now with the arch punks. And punk rockers are being swept off the street and put into work camps, re-education camps actually, where their heads are shaved, their tattoos are removed, branded, sometimes off. And when they're released, they'll be enemies of the state, so their lives will be
changed.
Totally reduced, yes.
So what can you do for them? How are you?
Well, what we can do is we can help them if they reach out to us through the great passive exchange of information on the internet. Reach out to us, and what we can do is we can start to advocate for them. We can also hip them to the process. There's a lot of people that go into this process without the knowledge of what they can and can't do in certain countries and how they will actually be blanketed by these countries once they've been able to get out.
Now, you've been particularly successful with one candidate, Artak, correct?
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about his story?
Artak, a few years ago, escaped from Iran through 7 checkpoints into Turkey, and this is exactly the same story. Didn't know what to do once he was there, and basically he hid in fear, not knowing that he could just approach the authorities in Turkey, and they would immediately put him in touch with the UN to start his process. So we want to try to baffle that fear. And the refugee situation is unique under the guidelines of punk rock and metal, because even refugees that want to escape this tyranny in these kind of countries are horrified of metalheads. So you have to kind of treat these guys differently. There's still really fearful superstitions and things surrounding what metal is.
Right. So it's a religious thing. It's mostly a religious.
A lot of the times it can. It doesn't have to be that metal is per se what is oppressed. Much like the situation in South Africa, metalheads aren't oppressed for playing metal. It's an oppressive country in a lot of ways. Right. So to help these bands get out from under very small scene or great vibrant bands, as you know from South Africa, don't have that flag width or height.
Right.
And we kind of exist in that arena too, to help bands who are in these countries digging out fruitful careers with maybe 15,000 people into metal in the whole country.
So now Contrast the Water, what was your story there? What was the A.F.A.R's involvement with them?
Basically, they came over to raise awareness of A.F.A.R, to bring awareness to the problems of their country, and also raise awareness to the great bands that exist there. Also, their message is much like Sepultura, and much like a lot of bands.
What's that message?
Well, I think in a lot of ways it's about treating people well, civility, social stability through taking care of the guy on your right or left, being responsible, a little being accountable as a society, and treating people well.
So if I'm a musician, or I think that I'm being oppressed and I'm watching this interview on the internet and I live in Pakistan or whatever, what am I going to do? How am I going to get a hold of you? What is this process going to be?
Basically, what it would be is you get on the internet, you try to contact us through Facebook, or also we're just now launching the AFAR.org.net and .com.
Because you are a full...
we're a full 501c nonprofit now, so we're able to now help with people who need money in these. Sometimes it's 18 to 22 months, these processes, to get the status and also the acceptance into a certain state or country. You can go to Germany, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, the United States. It really comes down to who signs for you.
Right.
So what we want to do is have hosting in place, people who are able to sign for these people, so when they do come, they come here. Or if they want to go to Germany, like I think a great destination for the arch punks is actually Germany.
Right.
Because they have such an established squatting scene and a very politicalized scene and very self-sufficient with defeating a bunch of people at once every night and things like that.
Right.
So it might not be here, right?
Right.
You were saying the metal mecca, right?
Right.
Well, and there's the great punk mecca too, but at the same time,
So
art punks might really have a good run of it in Germany.
in medical emergencies before, we've had earthquake, we've had hurricanes. Well, we have an emergency here, and there's a lot of people that need help, and we're going to need your money to help that out. Where, if I wanted to donate money, how can I do that?
Real soon on the Facebook page and the Facebook cause page. So just come to the Chris Kontos page or the Alliance for Artist Rescue page on Facebook, and we're going to guide you right in as this week progresses.
So, well, all right, I've been sitting here with Chris Kontos, the CEO, the founder, CEO and founder of A.F.A.R, Alliance for Art.
That's crazy.
The Alliance for Artist Rescue. You can find them on the web and give generously, because these people are doing a good thing for the people of the metal and punk community.
You lie, you cheat, and you steal. You sell drugs, drink guns.